so that we can unlock the potential that the Fens can offer to deliver the growth our economy needs.
Yeah. Another Maiden, Nic Dakin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First, I'd like to compliment the honourable member for North East Cambridgeshire on an excellent maiden speech, which gave us a clear vision of the opportunities and challenges of his Fenland constituency. His contribution was clear and measured. And thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, for allowing me to make my first speech in this chamber just 23 years to the day my predecessor, Elliot Morley, made his. What's more, Mr. Deputy Speaker, the 6th of July appears to be a popular day for novice MPs from Scunthorpe. It was the day Michael Brown, who now scribbles so ably for the Independent newspaper, made his maiden speech as well. Elliot Morley served the constituency for nearly a quarter of a century as a respected, hard-working MP. He rightly gained a national and international reputation for his steadfast work on animal welfare and climate change. His record in helping to create a better world should not be lost in the wake of recent events. I am the first MP for 80 years to represent the constituency after an adult lifetime of living and working in it. It is my adopted hometown and I love it. The first Labour MP, David Quibble, was elected at the age of 50. He was born in Messingham, which still lies within the constituency boundary. A passionate early socialist active within the trade union movement and Independent Labour Party, he, like I, knew the constituency inside out when he was elected in 1929 and took his place on the Labour government benches in an interlude between failing coalition governments. A contemporary of Quibble said, "He was a revolutionary and a rough customer. If at his meetings anyone at the back interrupted, he would not think twice about getting down off the platform and thumping the interrupter." You'll be pleased to hear, Mr. Deputy Speaker, that I don't plan to imitate Mr. Quibble's style in this respect. My friends tell me that, if anything, I'm rather too consensual in my approach. In that respect, I follow more in the footsteps of Ian Causey, MP for Brigham Goole, up to the election. Thanks to boundary changes, I inherited the village of Scorby from him. Ian demonstrated the power of cross-party working when he persuaded 3 other MPs, a Welsh Labour, a Scots Nat, and a well-spoken English Conservative, to join him in the band MP4. Out of those discordant political notes, musical harmony came forth, and I am told you can buy their CD, Cross Party, for just £10.99. It's still in stock in Oxford Street's HMV. All proceeds, honourable members, to Help for Heroes. Don't all rush off just yet. I must also mention my friend, neighbour and mentor John Ellis, who represented Scunthorpe from 1974 to 1979. He does his level best to keep me on the straight and narrow, but has his work cut out, despairing from time to time at what he sees as my new Labour pragmatism. The industrial garden town of Scunthorpe always surprises new visitors with its fine parks, green open spaces and magnificent floral displays. Its people are hard-working, neighbourly and welcoming. There is much to be proud of. It's home to the world-famous Chorus Steelworks, whose track record for producing high-quality steel at competitive prices is second to none. There are vibrant businesses, large and small, from the construction and logistics giant Clugston's to the organic farm shop, the Pink Pig, where you can buy, amongst other things, pink pigs. the soft, cuddly variety. All these businesses are witness to the innovation, hard work and enterprise of local people. Scunthorpe boasts a championship football team, Up the Iron, and a rugby union team that achieved promotion to the National Leagues this year, as well as a fine speedway outfit and a range of other great sports clubs. The area also has a vibrant arts, drama and musical community and is home to last year's BBC Choir of the Year, the Scunthorpe Junior Cooperative Choir. It has good schools and 2 high-performing colleges, one of which, John Leggett, renowned for the excellence of its education, I have been privileged to lead as principal for the last 4 years. In addition to those already mentioned, the constituency includes more fantastic towns and villages: Bottisford, Curtin, Redburn, Hibblestow, Gainsthorpe, Home, Manton, Cadney and Howsham, all great places to live. Mr Deputy Speaker, all of us, regardless of party or seniority, should have the humility to listen carefully to the people we seek to serve. The parties opposite are quite right when they say Labour lost the election. We did. But let's be completely honest, Deputy Speaker. No party won the election. Labour lost, the Conservatives lost, the Lib Dems lost. We all lost the election. Deals done behind closed doors put together the present ruling coalition, a coalition we were promised would act in the national interest and be committed to protect the vulnerable. Even now, few believe that to be true. VAT destroyed that illusion. The Honourable Member for Dundee East described the increase in VAT as being unforgivable and has already mentioned the analysis of Save the Children. Only yesterday, Flora Alexander of Save the Children said VAT is a regressive tax affecting those on low incomes disproportionately. The 2.5% increase will mean families living in poverty will be put under even more pressure. Save the Children is calling for the poorest not to pay the price for the economic crisis. Neither party opposite told the electorate, vote for us and we'll put VAT up to 20%. Vote for us and we'll cut public spending by 25%. Vote for us and we'll cancel building schools for the future. My electorate in Scunthorpe was certainly not told this by my Conservative and Lib Dem opponents. The argument that we need to cut fast and cut furiously, as if it was some virility test, does not have the support of the electorate. The electorate rejected the Conservative argument, which was well put by the Conservative Party in the election. It was rejected just 2 months ago. And instead, the electorate supported proposals to tackle the deficit in a measured, proportionate way. Mr Deputy Speaker, we should all have the humility to recognise that there is no mandate for the budget proposals before us today, no mandate for fast and furious cuts, and certainly no mandate for a huge rise in VAT and for freezing of child benefit, measures at the heart of this unprincipled government's approach. Both the Labour and the Lib Dem parties made clear, and the public agreed on May the 6th, that the British economy is too fragile to bear these cuts without plunging us back into recession. That's why they rejected the Tory offer at the polls. The public knows full well that cuts in the public sector lead to job losses in the private sector. The public isn't daft. They know that the private sector prospers when it's able to sell its goods and services. With Europe's economies contracting and the squeeze put on the UK economy, individuals and companies will stop spending and jobs will be lost in the private sector to add to job losses in the public sector. That's what the leaked Treasury papers said last week, and that is what I fear. And I hope that it and I am wrong. I would rather the analysis by the Right Honourable Member for Wokingham was correct, but I fear it will be proved to be false and flawed. Mr Deputy Speaker, there is no justification for what is about to happen. To quote the well-respected economist David Blanchflower, economic policy in the UK is now being run by a bunch of ideological amateurs who are destined to fail at enormous cost to the British people. Mr Deputy Speaker, the so-called black hole in our finances is an invented story to camouflage the truth. Yeah. An invented story to wriggle out of promises made to the electorate at the election. And it's a story I've heard before. I've heard it in North Lincolnshire Council when the Conservatives briefly took control of the council, and they went on about a black hole in the finances then. And it wasn't true then, and it isn't true now. It's a story, it's a figment, it's a fantasy. It's something to con themselves with, first of all, and I think they've achieved doing that, and then con everybody else with. It cuts no ice with me nor with the people of Scunthorpe. While at present it might resonate with some people, it will reverberate in a most hollow way if this budget ends up devastating people's lives. I sincerely hope it does not, because there is no mandate for this and there is no need for this. I urge all members of this House to vote in line with the manifestos on which they were elected just 2 short months ago. I urge all members of this House to be true and faithful to their promises. I'm immensely proud, Mr Deputy Speaker, to have been chosen by the voters of Scunthorpe County constituency to represent them in this Parliament. I will carry out my duties in line with the promises I made to them. To this end, I will be voting against the measures in this finance bill. I call on all honourable members to do the same.
Yeah. We have another maiden speech, Bengama.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Deputy Speaker, very much. And I should first of all pay tribute to the new member for Scunthorpe, who showed in his maiden speech that he will be a robust defender of his constituents, even though, if I may say so, his grasp of accountancy as it pertains to the finance bill before us and the proposal of this coalition government shows a similar level of grasp as his predecessor in that seat.